Let's see, who else do we have? Okay, Chair calls Matthew H-O-H. Is that you up there, sir?
Yeah, good morning.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to mispronounce your last name.
Oh, it's fine. Just drop the H at the end there, and it says toe.
Oh, okay. If you would, state your name for the record, who you represent, and your position on the bill.
Yes, sir. My name is Matthew Ho. I represent myself, and I strongly support this bill. I am in North Carolina. However, I want to say I was a Texas resident for 5 years, and living in Corpus Christi was one of my top places I've ever lived in my life. So I'm very fond of Texas, and I certainly know how Texas treats service members and veterans. So I want to thank you all because I know within the military and veteran community, Texas has a very good reputation. I have a prepared statement I'll read, and then I'm happy to help with any questions or answer anything you like. Excuse me. Thank you for allowing me to testify. My name is Matthew Ho. I am a senior fellow with the Center for International Policy. I was a Marine Corps officer for 10 years, as well as a political officer with the State Department. I participated in the Iraq War twice and the Afghan War once. I am a 100% disabled combat veteran. The wars to which the National Guard continue to be sent are never-ending, counterproductive, and failed, as well as undeclared and constitutionally illegal. To illustrate how these wars have been counterproductive, consider just two simple facts. In the years prior to the U.S. invasion in 2001, Afghanistan and Pakistan were home to 4 international terror groups. Now the Pentagon testifies the number of such terror groups has grown to 20 or more. Secondly, when the U.S. first invaded Afghanistan, Al-Qaeda counted around 400 total members worldwide. Al-Qaeda has since spawned branches and offshoots, including the Islamic State, in dozens of countries with total memberships in the tens of thousands and have, at times, controlled entire cities in multiple countries. These wars have been based and sustained upon lies. While our Congress has not had the sense of responsibility of their duties, the United Kingdom Parliament has held formal inquiries that have confirmed both the wars in Iraq and Libya were built on lies, while in December 2019, the Washington Post published hundreds of testimonies from U.S. military and government officials confirming the war in Afghanistan has been a deliberate and concerted program of systemic lying. I just want to go off script for a moment to bring this up. This applies directly to the suicide epidemic we see in veterans. We know that combat-related guilt, I do a lot of work on veterans' health and veteran suicide. Combat-related guilt is the primary driver in veteran suicides. We've known this since 1991 when the VA first found this studying Vietnam veterans. And so when you send young men and women overseas, have them take part in killing, and then they come home and they realize what they were doing was built on a lie, the moral injury that occurs to them, that directly leads to this incredibly high rate of suicide we see among our veterans. Just to give you an idea of how high that rate is, in infantry units that have been tracked that have come home from Iraq and Afghanistan, the rate of suicide in those young men is 14 times higher than the rate of suicide in other young men the same age. I also want to bring up the fact that while National Guard units are deployed to these wars, their communities and states often call for their help. Most famously was the Louisiana National Guard, which was in Iraq when Hurricane Katrina hit. There have been numerous examples across multiple states of the National Guard not being available for their neighbors and communities. Last summer, while record wildfires devastated Oregon, the helicopters the Oregon National Guard were used to fight the wildfires were not in Oregon, but in Afghanistan. In my home state, North Carolina, as the pandemic began last year, the North Carolina National Guard was deployed to Syria and Kuwait. In Syria, they were defending the oil fields the U.S. military had seized and had awarded to a private company. My own personal experience with the National Guard was in Iraq in 2005 when I was in Tikrit and I was attached to and served with the 42nd Infantry Division, New York National Guard. So I understand a lot of the personal effects these wars have on people who are called to them. It's been demonstrated very clearly our elected representatives in Washington, D.C. are unwilling to fulfill their constitutional duties. This includes ensuring the men and women who step forward to defend, protect, and help their neighbors and communities by joining the National Guard are not deployed to these failed, counterproductive, and constitutionally unapproved wars. These men and women are being abused and betrayed by this failure. I ask you all to do what our members of Congress in Washington, D.C. will not do and pass the Defend the Guard Act. The men and women of the Guard deserve the same level of courage and integrity in their elected leaders as they themselves demonstrate. Thank you very much for allowing me to testify. And again, thank you for considering this piece of legislation.
Thank you very much for your patience. I appreciate that. I know you've been sitting there for a while. Members?
Oh, no problem, sir. I just appreciate being here. And I'm very, very excited you all are considering. We're not considering this here in North Carolina. I'm very pleased that you all have the courage and integrity, because I know this is a political hot potato, and I'm so I'm grateful that you're willing to take this on, to consider this.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Members, any questions? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.